Okay, so good day everyone. I am Ansong, and today we'll be discussing about technical proposals. So, what are technical proposals? A proposal in the technical sense is a document that tries to persuade the reader to implement a proposed plan or approve a proposed project. Most businesses rely on effective proposal writing to ensure successful continuation of their business and to get new contracts. The writer tries to convince the reader that the proposed plan or project is worth doing. It is worth the time, energy, and expense necessary to implement or see through. That the author represents the best candidate for implementing the idea and that it will result in tangible benefits. Okay, so proposals can have various purposes and thus take many forms. Depending on the kind of proposal you are writing, they may include some of the following sections: introduction or background, statement of problem to be solved, or opportunity to improve or innovate, purpose, motivation, goals, or objectives, definition of scope and approach with limitations, review of the state of the art or market analysis, stakeholder analysis, technical background, project description, schedule of work or timeline, validation plan or marketing plan, budget, qualifications, and conclusions. Technical proposals are often tailored for specific projects and must be comprehensive in order to be successful. In addition to outlining the core elements of the project, a technical proposal should also include supporting evidence, such as data from research studies or reports from industry experts. By leveraging data and professional experience in a precise way, a technical proposal introduces products and initiatives while also explaining how they address the recipient's problem and the company's execution plan. While this type of proposal is often brief, it can quickly become very complex. While writing, remember that the proposal needs to explain a complex product in relatively simple terms. So, how is a technical proposal different from a business proposal? Well, a technical proposal highlights solutions, methodologies, and feasibility, while a business proposal focuses on strategies, market analysis, and financial planning to address broader client objectives and business needs. Okay, so there are four kinds of proposals. These are categorized in terms of whether or not they are requested and whether they are meant to solve a problem within their own organization or not. From the following description, we will also see that they can also overlap with each other. First is we have the solicited proposals, where an organization identifies a situation it wants to improve or a problem that it wants to solve and issues an RFP, which stands for Request for Proposals, and asking for proposals on how to address it. The requesting organization will vet proposals and choose the most convincing one, often using a detailed scoring rubric or weighted objective charts to determine which proposal best responds to the request. The second one is the unsolicited proposals. A writer perceives a problem or an opportunity and takes the initiative to propose a way to solve the problem or take advantage of the opportunity without being requested to do so. So this can often be the most difficult kind of proposal to get approved because it is not asked for and it is only the initiative of the writer of the proposal. Next one is the internal proposals. These are written by and for someone within the same organization. Since both the writer and reader are in the same workplace context, these proposals are generally shorter than external proposals and usually address some way to improve a work-related situation. Example, productivity, efficiency, profit, etc. And as internal documents, they are often sent as memos or introduced with a memo if the proposal is a bit lengthy. And the last one is external proposals. These are sent outside of the writer's organization to a separate entity, which usually to solicit a business. And since these are external documents, they are usually sent as a formal report, if long, and introduced by a cover letter, if it's a letter of transmittal. And external proposals are usually sent in response to a request for proposals, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it is also not asked for. Okay, so now let us take a look at what is the technical proposal format. How do we format them? First is we have the title page. It includes the proposal's title, the name of the organization or individual submitting it, the date, and the contact details. Next is we have the executive summary. So this section provides a brief overview of the proposal, highlighting the problem, proposed solution, and expected outcomes. Next is we have the introduction. So the introduction explains the purpose of the proposal, its relevance, and its objectives. Next is we have the problem statement. And this section clearly defines the problem or challenge that the proposal aims to address. Next is proposed solution. This section details the technical solution, including the methodology, tools, and technologies that to be used. And next is implementation plan. So this section outlines the steps and timeline for executing the solution, including resource allocation and key milestones. Budget and cost analysis. So this section provides a breakdown of the estimated cost associated with the proposal, including materials, labor, and other expenses. Benefits and impact. This section highlights the expected benefits and impact of the solution on the organization or the project. Conclusion. This section summarizes the proposal and reiterates the importance of the proposed solution. And lastly, appendices. So this section includes any supplementary information such as diagrams, data, or references that supports the proposal. Okay, so we already learned how to format a technical proposal. Now we will be discussing how to write a technical proposal. First, we must understand the requirements. We must analyze the client's needs, project specifications, and any provided documentation or request for proposal. We must also ensure a clear understanding of the problem and expected deliverables. We must define the scope and objectives. We should clearly outline the project's goals, the scope of work, and the specific outcomes or solutions the proposal aims to achieve. Next is we must develop a methodology and implementation plan. We should provide a detailed approach, including the technical methods, tools, and timeline for executing the project. We should also highlight key milestones and deliverables. Next is we should include estimate cost and resources. So we need to include a comprehensive budget that covers all project aspects such as materials, labor, equipment, and additional resources. And we should also ensure transparency in cost estimation. And lastly, we must write a professional and persuasive document. So the structure with the proposal, it should include sections such as executive summary, project description, methodology, timeline, budget, and benefits. And we should use clear, concise language and emphasize how our solution aligns with the client's needs. Okay, so in writing technical proposals, we must also take in consideration the language that we use and how do we construct our sentences. Because proposals are fundamentally persuasive documents, so paying attention to the rhetorical situation or the position of the reader and the purpose of the proposal, the form and the tone is paramount, or it is of great importance. So clearly, we must define the purpose and the audience before we begin to write. And you should also be sure that you have done research so you know what you are talking about. Remain positive and constructive because you are seeking to improve a situation. Be solution-oriented. Don't blame or dwell on the negative. Make your introduction very logical, objective, and empirical. Don't start off sounding like an advertisement or sounding biased. And also avoid logical fallacies. And lastly, use primary, logical, and ethical appeals. Also, use emotional appeals sparingly. And always remember that we must adhere to the 7 C's by making sure that our writing is clear and coherent. We must not confuse our reader with unclear ideas or an illogically organized structure. We must be concise and courteous. We must not annoy our reader with clutter, unnecessary padding, inappropriate tone, or hard-to-read formatting. We must always be concrete and complete. We must avoid vague generalities, give specifics, don't leave out necessary information. And we must always be correct. We should not undermine our professional credibility by neglecting grammar and spelling or by including inaccurate information. Okay, so here are some samples of technical proposals that you can look up online for some example templates, since how they are written mostly depends on their purpose. We have technical proposals that are for research purposes. We have those for engineering, education and training, businesses, and development proposals. So we must always remember that a technical proposal serves as both persuasive tool and roadmap for how a project or issue will be addressed, providing clarity and demonstrating expertise. And remember that no matter what kind of technical proposal that is, the organization is always almost the same, which includes the introduction and background, which clearly and fully defines the problem or opportunity addressed by the proposal and briefly presents the solution or idea. It also convinces the reader that there is a clear need and a clear benefit to the proposed idea, as well as the project description, which is a detailed description of solution idea and detailed explanation of the proposed idea that will improve the situation or the problem. And then we have the credentials, which includes the established writer's qualifications and experience to lead this project, and then timeline and budget, which provide a detailed timeline of completion or for completion of the project and the budget that is intended for it. And then we have the conclusion, that is the last chance to convince the reader, and you need to be persuasive. And of course, references, wherein you would include your research sources. So I hope that you learn how to write a technical proposal. So thank you for listening.